Doodie Lowe was shot in the leg and robbed in broad daylight on Martin Luther King Drive in Atlanta. At first, it looked like just another stick-up. Wrong place, wrong time. But what happened after raised eyebrows across the drill scene? Within days, affiliates tied to NBA YoungBoy started flashing what looked like Doodie's chain on IG, tagging him, taunting him, and throwing fuel on a beef that's been burning since Von got outside that hookah lounge. Now, new evidence and online activity are pointing toward deeper ties, suggesting this wasn't just a random robbery, but a calculated move tied to YoungBoy's circle, the robbery that reignited a war. On the night of May 13, 2025, Atlanta police were called out around 9:25 p.m. to Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Northwest, where they found a 33-year-old man in the leg. He was still conscious when EMS arrived and was rushed to the hospital. Police didn't drop any names in the official report, but within hours, blogs and hip-hop news accounts started saying the victim was Mario Doodie Lowe Whitfield, an OTF member out of Illinois tied closely to Lil Durk. The info got out fast because witnesses on scene matched his age, face, and jewelry to the person hit. From the start, the was seen as a robbery gone loud. Word on the street was that a luxury watch got snatched before the dipped, but things really took a turn 9 days later when Quando Rondo's brother Whoop hopped on IG, flashing a chain that looked just like the one Doodie used to wear. He tagged him in the post too, basically throwing gas on the fire. That one story was enough to revive talk of the long-standing OTF versus 4KT beef that's been active since King Von got killed. Then in late July, Doodie Lowe finally sat down for a full interview and confirmed he was the one who got shot. He said the jammed after the first, and that's how he made it out alive. He crawled to safety and waited for EMS. He didn't name anybody, but he affirmed that the people who posted his chains didn't actually have it.
Okay, look, the that posted my right?
Right.
They don't have my They had a video of it. Am I right or wrong?
1,000,000%.
Okay, that's...
Footage of him doing rehab surfaced in June. Academics posted it, and Hot New Hip Hop said doctors expect him to recover fully. Doodie's already back in the studio. Meanwhile, the investigation's still open. No arrests, no suspects named, and the Atlanta PD hasn't connected the chain post to the case. But fans and street blogs keep pointing out that whoever did it knew where he'd be, which has led to even more speculation about it being a setup. As of now, it's all smoke. No names, no charges, just whispers and a lot of tension. But what really lit the block up was what came after. Quando Rondo's people didn't just stay quiet, they started claiming the move. One of his affiliates hopped on IG, talking slick, no more talking, tallies outside, Haitian fool better stay low in the A. That alone had fans thinking they were throwing straight at Doodie. Nobody even had to play detective. Dudes was telling on themselves in public. The same crew allegedly posted texts showing Doodie trying to get his chain back, supposedly offering bread for its return. Screenshot read, "Doodie Lowe said if we can get his chain back, he got some cheese for us." And they captioned it, "F Doodie Lowe," like it was a joke. Folks started clowning the move. If they really wanted smoke, why shoot him in the leg and let him walk? Why not finish it if it was really that deep? But that's the game now. Shoot somebody, grab a chain, then brag on IG before the cops even log the case. Right now, nobody is arrested, but Atlanta PD is still investigating. However, this hit reopened old beefs. OTF versus 4KT ain't been quiet since Von died, and this just threw more fuel on it. When Doodie Lowe allegedly got his chain snatched and in the leg, the internet lit up. But what really got the streets talking was the claim that he tried to get his chain back, offering money to the same ops that slid on him. That move confused a lot of people. In drill culture, once you get caught lacking, that chain is gone. Asking for it back, especially with a cash offer, ain't just risky, it's a setup for public humiliation, and that's exactly what happened. Quando Rondo's people didn't just take the jewelry, they took it to Instagram, posted the chain, tagged Doodie, and clowned him in front of everybody. This had folks questioning Doodie's judgment. He'd been in this scene for years. He know how this go. You don't pay to get your chain back from enemies, especially not when the beef between OTF and 4KT had been cooling off for a minute. Ever since the Dirk Rico and the fallout from Lil Pat's case, the tension was low. Then suddenly this, Doodie Lowe gets hit, his chain ends up on Quando's people's story, and boom, NBA YoungBoy announces a Chicago show for September. The timing got people saying this wasn't random, it was calculated. Now some fans called cap when they saw the IG story. They weren't sure if the chain and watch were even Doodie's. The watch did look like one he rocked in a pic with Dirk, but the chain, hard to confirm. That's what made it feel weird. If they really took the chain during the hit, why wait over a week to flex it? Why not post it the night it happened, when the buzz was fresh? And whether Doodie tried to buy it back for pride, insurance, or just to dead the drama, It ended up doing the opposite. It gave the ops a platform to laugh and the blogs more fuel to stir up a war that hadn't even fully cooled down. But how does a guy like Doodie Low end up in such a drama? Who is Doodie Low? Doodie Low came up out the bricks. Crestview Apartments in Kankakee, Illinois, a rough section tucked behind an old Kmart where Section 8 rent and street survival go hand in hand. Born David Salisbury on October 22, 1991, he credits that pressure cooker environment and a steady diet of Tupac and Jeezy for the rawness in his voice and the pain in his lyrics. His path linked up with Lil Durk around 2015 through a mutual connection. By 2019, he was moving official with OTF, riding with the camp heavy, but it wasn't until August 2020 that his voice really hit the scene, featured on Me and Doodie Low with King Von. That track premiered through OTF's channels and brought attention to Doodie's gravel tone delivery. From there, he wasn't just in the background, he was stamped in the drill scene. 2021 saw his first major push with Big Doodie Low, a mixtape that blended personal skits with street-certified anthems. But it was 2022 that marked his Billboard breakthrough. Did To Me with Lil Durk debuted at #1, 96 on the Hot 100. Then in 2024, he dropped What Made Me, a concept album released through Empire and OTF. That project dug deep, less flex, more pain, wrapped in melodic drill. It was the first time fans saw him push beyond street bangers into full story mode. But Doodie's come up didn't go unchecked. In October 2021, Instagram influencer FTN Bay accused him of abusing her child. He denied it from the jump, took a polygraph voluntarily, and filed a defamation suit. A Broward County judge ruled in his favor in 2023, awarding $1.25 million in special damages after slashing down an initial $11 million figure. The court cleared his name, but the damage was already done mentally. That false accusation spiraled him into depression and insomnia. He tweeted in July 2023 that Durk dropped $110,000 to send him to rehab, calling it a life-saving move. Hip Hop DX and others picked the story up. That moment cemented their bond. Durk wasn't just a label head, he was backing Doodie all the way, personally and financially. In interviews, Doodie Low calls the booth self-therapy. His inspirations, Tupac's truth, and Bow Wow's stage presence, an unexpected mix that explains both his emotional range and industry polish. His name traces back to childhood. Doodie was a family nickname. Low came later from the block. Despite everything, street roots, false headlines, his record stays clean. No criminal convictions, just scars and stories. His legal battles are behind him. His mind is clearer. He's got Durk in his corner, a Billboard plaque under his belt, and a growing catalog that balances grit with growth. Now it's up to Doodie Low to see if he can flip all that pain into long-term position. Not just as a drill name, but as a mainstay who made it out of Kankakee and stood 10 toes when everything around him tried to break him. But just as Doodie Low seemed to be turning a corner, cleared legally, focused musically, and building momentum, the streets pulled him right back in. Real hit or IG rollout. Doodie Low took one to the leg on May 13th, 2025, around 9:25 p.m. on Martin Luther King Drive, Northwest in Atlanta. Streets say he was caught slipping, maybe linking up with a shorty, maybe just moving too light, but whatever it was, he ended up and his chain went missing. That same chain started doing rounds online not long after, popping up on Quando Rondo's people's Instagram stories, turning what might have been a quiet incident into full-blown internet fuel. Since then, Doodie's kept it quiet. No disses, no threats, no retaliation posts, just a calm message. I got hit, but I'm still here, still breathing. God got me, taking this time to heal, get stronger, come back better. That ain't just words, it's strategy. Because truth is, surviving a does something to your head. You realize you're not untouchable. You start moving different. And Doodie knows it. Next time might not be a leg. Next time might be lights out. When you get hit and walk away, the smart ones don't get louder, they get silent. They watch more, move tighter. And from what it looks like, that's exactly what Doodie's doing. He's in recovery now, probably doing rehab just to get back on his feet. That leg injury ain't light. If the bullet fractured something, it's months of therapy. Could be nerve damage, muscle loss, all that. It's not like the movies where you limp for a few days and bounce back. This is real recovery. Most artists in his position feel boxed in. They either gotta flex like nothing happened, or they rush to get back and risk throwing their career away. But Doodie didn't do either. He took the L in silence and kept his image intact. That tells you where his head at. He's been around long enough to know the clout game ends with a mug or a casket. And that chain, that money, he'll get that back. What he won't get back is his life if he fumbles again. The way this whole thing played out on the internet just made the situation messier by the day. Quando Rondo's camp didn't hit social media once and keep it pushing. They kept doubling back, like they had something to prove. First, they posted the watch, Then they flashed a chain, and every time fans clowned them for not showing the actual OTF piece, they came back with more clips, more flexes, trying to convince everybody it was real. But the streets started questioning it. If you really stripped your op for his chain, especially someone like Doodie Low, you're posting that iconic OTF piece first. That's the trophy. That's the logo that says, "We up on the scoreboard." But what they showed was a Cuban and a diamond Audemars that kinda looked like something Doodie had worn before, but wasn't the signature F piece everyone associates with him. That had fans calling cap, or at least saying, if they did take it, they're dragging out the drama for attention. And that's the other part. This whole thing started feeling like a rollout. Every few days, some new post or leak hits IG, trying to keep the story alive. Like it's not about the robbery anymore. It's about being viral, about proving you're really that guy instead of just sliding and staying quiet. But instead of showing dominance, all they really did was expose how desperate they are for clout. Cause if you really took that chain, that F piece would have been the first thing posted, not just some random jewelry that might or might not belong to Doodie. At this point, even fans in the comments started saying it, either show the full proof or stop dragging it out. If you up, you up. But trying to convince the internet post by post just makes it look like you're forcing it. Now, Quando Rondo and his brother weren't the only ones to clown Doodie Low on Instagram. Lil Tim, real name Timothy Leaks, is best known as the man who pulled the trigger the night King Von was close affiliate of Quando Rondo and a member of the Crips. Lil Tim fired the fatal outside Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta back in November 2020 after Von ran up on Rondo and punched him. The incident turned Lil Tim into a central figure in the OTF versus NBA beef. He was arrested and charged with, but by 2023, the case was dropped due to lack of evidence to disprove self-defense. Since then, Tim's been moving low-key, avoiding the spotlight until Doodie Low got. Not long after the Atlanta robbery, Lil Tim posted to his Instagram story with thinly veiled shots at Doodie, clowning the situation without naming names. The timing, tone, and history made it clear who he was talking about. It wasn't just a post, it was a statement. The same camp tied to Von was laughing again after another OTF member got hit. And even though Tim didn't say much, sometimes a smirk and a caption say more than words ever could.
Introduce you to that life. Fa.
But here's the ugly truth. They ain't doing this for money, for respect, or even for revenge. They doing it because they want dudes in the comments to say, he's really like that. That's it. That's the end goal. Not the jewelry, not the win. Just the image. Meanwhile, Doodie Low's been mostly quiet. He said his piece once about the scamming, about surviving. But outside that, he's not feeding the internet. And that's what's got people questioning the whole thing. Is it real? Is it staged? Is this just another fake beef with real consequences? All we know for sure is that the chain still hasn't surfaced in full. The piece is still missing. And everything else? Just noise. But if you're looking for logic, you're wasting time. These dudes ain't thinking, they just performing. Chicago's divide on full display. To understand how flexing a chain can go so deep, we have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This wasn't just a random hit. It happened during Memorial Day weekend. At the same time, the so-called Black Yacht Weekend was going down in Chicago. That whole event turned into its own kind of mess, promoted as some luxury black getaway, but ended with folks calling it a scam. Boats couldn't go out, the city's deep segregation shocked out-of-towners, and social media ate it alive. Chicago's not like Houston or Atlanta. There's no massive, thriving black upper-class suburb where you can party, chill, and be removed from the streets. It's either you in it or you far from it. And a lot of folks flying in didn't realize that. Chicago's still split. You got blocks that's all black, others all white, no mixing. The jails packed with black and Latino youth, the crime concentrated in certain hoods, and the mindset still stuck in survival mode. Events like that don't thrive in cities like Chicago because the structure ain't built for it. It's not like Atlanta, where you got black doctors, entrepreneurs, and developers all living in one neighborhood, raising their kids in peace. In Chicago, if a black family makes it out, they leave the city lines. So when people try to bring a luxury image to Chicago, or even expect the drama around Doodie Low to stop at just it doesn't really line up. The street mentality, the lack of planning, the need for public validation, it all collides. That's why Quando's people keep posting, not because they are smart, not because they are up, but because they are chasing an image. They want the world to see them as savages, not to get money, not to build a brand, but just to be feared. And in the middle of all that, Doodie Low says his thank yous, keeps it brief, no ops named, no disses thrown, just God got me. He already knows the spotlight hot, Dirk's camp under Ryko, feds watching everybody close. say the wrong thing, and the next post won't be a flex. It'll be a court document, so he plays it quiet, but the streets ain't quiet. Not while Quando's people keep dropping story posts like it's part of a rollout. And not while September creeps closer, with NBA YoungBoy scheduled to touch down in Chicago. If this is all theater, it's got a real body count waiting in the wings. OTF versus NBA. But this incident traces back way before Doodie Lo got his chain snatched and hit in the leg. For years, Doodie Lo moved as one of OTF's most loyal soldiers, never the loudest, but always in the mix. His rise mirrored the crew's own climb, from underground force to a chart-topping label with national pull. Linking with Dirk gave him both opportunity and direction, and through records, recovery, and setbacks, he stayed down. Even after catching a and losing his chain, he didn't fold or go rogue. He stayed under the OTF banner, moving smart, while Dirk fights his case from inside. OTF is more than just a label. It's Lil Durk's hand-picked crew, born out of the streets of Chicago and rooted deep in O-Block and the Black Disciples. What started as a local movement grew into a national brand, putting names like King Von, Memo 600, Booker 600, and Doodie Lo on the map. By the time the Loyal Bros compilation dropped, the camp had already solidified its presence, not just as rappers, but as a unit moving together in and out of music. Over the years, Dirk used OTF as a platform to put his people on. He dropped charting albums like 7220, Almost Healed, and Deep Thoughts, all under the OTF flag, blending street loyalty with major label execution. The crew's voice stayed consistent, raw pain, trauma, and survival, all wrapped in drill production. But while they were winning in music, the real-life affiliations never stayed too far behind. OTF's ties to long-standing Chicago gang wars, especially between the BDs and GDs, meant that the line between the industry and the streets stayed blurred. By 2024, that line got crossed again, this time in court. Lil Durk was arrested in connection to a federal murder-for-hire case, accused of bankrolling the 2022 LA hit that killed Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab. Prosecutors say OTF funds were used to book flights, rental cars, and hotel rooms for the shoot. 5 members of the crew were named, and court reports hint that someone from the inside cooperated. Dirk got denied bail multiple times, with judges calling him a flight risk and pointing to the mandatory life sentence he could face. With Dirk locked, OTF has gone mostly quiet publicly, but their presence hasn't faded. The rest of the camp still moves, still posts, still rides for Von with hashtags like YellVon, echoing through fan pages and IG captions. The brand is still alive, but its leadership is in limbo. And while the music keeps dropping, so does the weight of the spotlight from both the industry and the feds. OTF isn't just fighting for position in rap anymore. They're fighting to keep the whole operation afloat while their general waits to learn his fate. This war between OTF and NBA started long before blood hit the pavement, back when the tension was digital, but the disrespect was real. 2 camps, 2 cities, no alliances, just 2 sets with real street roots. Lil Durk's only the family out of Chicago, heavily tied to O-Block and Black Disciples, and YoungBoy never broke against crew from Baton Rouge, deep in 38 Gang and 4KT. Both movements came from neighborhoods where respect gets earned the hard way. So once names got mentioned, it was only a matter of time before rap turned into retaliation. It really started to boil in 2018. King Von, fresh out and buzzing, started clowning YoungBoy on IG Live, calling him fake, saying he got cap in his raps. It wasn't just petty, it was targeted. Fans already thought Von was messing with Asian Doll, YoungBoy's ex, and that made it personal. Asian went live saying it wasn't beef, but the internet don't need facts to run with something. Then November 6, 2020, Atlanta, outside Monaco Hookah Lounge. Von saw Quando Rondo, walked up and punched him. What happened next would split hip-hop forever. Quando's homie Lil Tim pulled the Glock and Von dropped. Later that night, another man, Mark Blakely, got 2. 4 more got hit. It was chaos. Lil Tim got booked for felony, but in August 2023, the case got tossed. Prosecutors said they couldn't prove it wasn't self-defense. After that, nobody forgot. The internet, the industry, the streets, they all picked sides. Quando went on an interview saying he feared for his life. YoungBoy stayed silent. He was on house arrest for federal charges. But Dirk's side, they kept posting. It's still up. They made it clear the situation wasn't closed. Then came the music. In January 2022, YoungBoy dropped Bring the Hook, called Von's whole hood O-Block, a pack. That one line turned up the temperature. A month later, Dirk clapped back with, "Ah-ha," subliminals flying, Von's chain in the video like a warning. That same day, YB dropped I Hate YoungBoy, no subliminals. He dissed Dirk, India Royale, Gucci Mane, and more. Straight warfare in the booth. Fans became soldiers in comment sections, feeding into the drama. The music wasn't just music anymore. It was ammo. August 19th, 2022, things went live again. Rondo was in LA, pumping gas at a Beverly Grove station. Pulled up, aired it out. Quando made it out. His cousin Lil Pab got hit on the scene. No arrests, but the streets started whispering. Then the Fed stepped in. October 25th, 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice unsealed a for-hire indictment. Dirk got arrested in Miami. They said OTF funded the whole LA hit. Flights, masks, hotel rooms, and rentals all paid for with an OTF card. 5 other members named. XXL reported there was even a cash bounty placed on Quando's head. If true, that wasn't just get back. That was federal-level beef. Then May 13th, 2025, Doodie Low gets in the leg on Martin Luther King Drive in Atlanta. Word spreads fast. He got robbed, chain gone. Rumors start. Not long after, one of Quando's affiliates posts a chain on Instagram that looks like Doodie's OTF piece. They flash it, tag him, clown him. Police ain't confirmed the connection, but the streets didn't need a statement. They already made up their mind. Then, out of nowhere, YoungBoy walks. On May 29th, 2025, Donald Trump pardons him for some fraud. That wiped his record clean. YB thanked his fans and said the moment meant a lot. With that, he's out. Dirk's in, and the balance shifts again. As of July 30th, 2025, Dirk sitting in Fed custody. Doodie Low still recovering from the leg, and the rest of OTF ain't let up. L. Von still flooding their pages like a war chant. Get back talk ain't died down, it's just been waiting. On the other side, YoungBoy walking free, backdropping disses on tracks, even though he trying to downplay it like it's just music now. Quando Rondo, doing 33 months on a Fed drug case. Lil Tim's out, moving light after that LA ambush. But the loyalty from his set, still locked in. It started with a troll, turned into a punch, then a personal and public. Rap bars turned into real indictments. TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter turned every diss into content. Millions of views meant millions of reasons to keep the fire going. The labels didn't step in. No OGs pulled rank. Nobody had enough clout to stop the spiral. Instead, the Fed stepped in, and now drill rap is in a new phase where lyrics get used as evidence and Instagram stories get pulled into federal court. This ain't just music anymore. This is case law in the making. And until Dirk's trial wraps and one side publicly waves the white flag, OTF versus NBA remains the biggest beef in modern rap. Doodie Low getting robbed in Atlanta wasn't just a random hit. It felt like a calculated move in the ongoing OTF versus NBA beef. He got caught lacking, lost a chain, and the internet lit up when affiliates tied to Quando Rondo started posting what looked like his jewelry. No arrests, no proof, but the timing and the trolling pointed straight back to familiar enemies. With Dirk behind bars and YoungBoy free, the balance has shifted. Whether or not NBA was directly involved, the message was clear. OTF is still being targeted, and Doodie just became the latest reminder that this war ain't over. If you like this video, click on a video on either side to watch a video similar to this one.